Hello everybody, my name's Owen Oliver, I work for Square Balloon and I'm making this video for Joomla London. Today I'm going to talk about JCE, which I'm sure a lot of you use instead of the normal editor, and I'm going to talk about the profiles. I always like to create new profiles, so you can see one I've created here. Replace the default one with this one. I haven't changed too much in there, and I don't change too much in there, but when you come to, when this part I have changed quite a lot. So I've removed all of these buttons. I like to take a lot of time designing my sites and designing styles for stuff and how it's laid out and stuff like that. I really don't want people using the font size button. I'd much rather use a H2 or something like that, so it's consistent. I don't want them changing the font family. I've already picked that. I've used the template to select it probably. And there's a lot of other buttons here which I just think, well, they don't need those. It just neatens things up, makes it a little tidier, and it's a bit more usable for the user, less confusing, stuff like that. And you can just drag them down there if you don't want them, or drag them back up if you do. I find that quite useful. You can change the editor label, stuff like that. Moving along, I haven't changed too much apart from that on that one. On this one, relative URLs, sometimes that can be a bit of a pain if you are having trouble with it a lot. You might want to switch that off. Typography, you can turn off the paragraph, which is always in the container when you press enter if you want to. File system, you can change the upload limit. It's quite useful sometimes if you get in trouble and you can't upload to files too big or something. You can change it there. Don't forget to change it in the media manager as well. And this bit I haven't changed too much, although I will show you these later on. I sometimes find them useful. Plugin parameters. Now I don't really want people using H1s because that ruins my SEO, so I just turn it off because I can't trust them. And the rest of this I don't need them using, so turn it off and allow them to have these ones. Much less confusing, makes the styles menu a lot shorter, a lot easier for them to understand. Good UX. File size is in here as well. I don't know why it's twice, but put in both shouldn't be a problem. Clipboard. This is quite useful. I like to put keep tags in. So you can see here I've got a lot of HTML entities. I'm copying and pasting from a website. Sometimes it's nice to keep the paragraphs in there rather than putting it as one big block, or breaks and lists and bold and italics and H1s and stuff like that. I think it's useful to keep that sort of styling, so I put them in there. You could enter more styles here. I can't think of any off the top of my head, so I leave that blank. Allow people to paste as HTML because I want these to come in, and place plain text obviously you would allow. Image manager again, you've got the upload size. You can set the margins here if you want to put a default margin. It's quite useful. You want to put the default alignment some way. Sometimes it's useful, you don't have to teach a client it then, especially if you've got a style going on where everything's aligned right or something like that. Links I don't think I've done anything with. Lists, everything's just default. Media support looks fine. iPhones are turned off, you could turn them on, sometimes they're useful. Preview is on. Source code you might want to turn off potentially, the source code. Go check what I like. Article breaks, I turn off the page break. I leave the read more, turn off the page break. So that's basically how I would set up a profile on JCE. So that means I would then assign it to the correct group, and when users are logging in on the front end or whatever, it can be really useful that they don't have all of those extra things. Also, I find them quite confusing, some of the plugin editors. So here's these buttons. So I turn off a lot of these, the read more, page break, and I just turn them off so they're not there because I find that they can be confusing. And even better, I take some stuff like I've got this regular labs module anywhere. I've converted it so the access is super users. So my normal clients don't see these buttons, which they don't understand. In particular, dummy comment, they probably don't want that. But when I'm constructing the website, I quite like to have that to put the dummy content. I'll probably remove it at the end, but even so, if they were to test it at any point in between, I really don't need them to see that. So I've set that to super users, solves my problem. Anything that nobody's going to use, I just get rid of it altogether. So back to JCE, I've created a second profile, and this one is for my super admins. And this is why I showed you some of the stuff before. This one I have allowed JavaScript, PHP, inline scripts. So this one's set for your super users use only. So you see that down here. So I'm not going to have a problem with it, anybody novice using it and inserting loads of JavaScript. But for me, in the back end, if I need to insert JavaScript, I haven't got to turn off the editor or anything. I can just crack on and work away. So I find all of that quite useful. And then once I've done those, I normally click that, and export them, which then allows me to save them on my computer. And the next time I have a project, I come over here, I browse, and I just import them. And I find that to be a real time saver on every project. Set them up once, and now they're good to go. And that's a good way to use JCE. It just reduces a lot of the functionality, but it really stops a lot of confusion and stuff like that. So overall, a good little feature. Thanks. This has been Joomla London. Hope to see you at the website or even attending one of our meetings.